Can India become a global superpower by 2047? A century of independence, 100 years since we broke free. But here's the real question. Will we be a global leader? Or will we still be struggling with the same problems, unemployment, weak infrastructure, and social inequality? Right now, India is at a crossroads. Do we have the potential to become an economic powerhouse like China or the US? We have massive challenges holding us back. Our population is booming, but are we creating enough jobs? Our economy is growing, but is everyone benefiting from it? Technology is advancing, but are we ready for the future? This is not a distant dream. Countries like South Korea transformed their economy in just 30 years. China lifted 800 million people out of poverty in a few decades. So can India do the same by 2047? Yes, but only if we act now. In this video, we'll break down India's biggest challenges and how we can solve them one step at a time. But before we dive in, I really welcome you to the channel. If you're new here, I'm B. Pili, and on this channel we break down big ideas, global trends, and the future of India. If you find value in this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and brings you more content like this. Alright, let's get in. Let's start with India's biggest strength. And no, it's not our military or economy. It's our youth. Over 50% of India's population is under 30. That's 650 million young people. Every year, 12 million Indians enter the workforce, more than the entire population of Sweden. This is what experts call a demographic dividend. China used this to become the world's manufacturing hub. South Korea used it to dominate tech and innovation. But here's the catch. A young population is not automatically an advantage. If these young people don't have the right skills or jobs, this dividend could turn into a nightmare of unemployment and frustration. So, what do we do? Let's break it down. Be honest. How much of what you studied in school do you actually use today? Pythagoras' theorem? Probably never. Memorized history dates? Maybe in a quiz, but not in life. Real-world job skills? Not so much. The reality is that our education system is outdated. It was designed for the industrial age, not the digital age. Meanwhile, the world is changing fast. AI, automation, robotics. 50% of today's jobs won't even exist in 20 years. The top-paying jobs today, data science, cybersecurity, AI engineering, weren't even mainstream 15 years ago. So what needs to change? More practical learning, less rote memorization. Countries like Finland focus on problem-solving and creativity, not just exams. Vocational training from an early age. Germany's dual education model allows students to work in real industries while studying. Industry-academia collaboration. Imagine an engineering student already building AI projects with top companies before graduating. The new education policy, NEP 2020, is a good step forward, but it needs faster implementation. But education alone won't solve the problem. Now, here's something incredible. India is already the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Yes, we have over 100 unicorn startups, companies worth over $1 billion. Think Flipkart, Zomato, Razorpay, Paytm. But we need millions more young entrepreneurs. The problem? Starting a business in India is still tough. Funding is hard to get. Bureaucracy slows everything down. And failure? It's still seen as a social stigma. How do we fix this? Easier access to funding. Young entrepreneurs struggle to get loans. The government needs more schemes like Startup India, but with better execution. Changing the failure mindset. In Silicon Valley, failing at a startup is seen as a learning experience. In India, it's seen as a shameful failure. We need to normalize risk-taking. Faster business approvals. In India, registering a business takes a week. In Singapore, just 1 to 2 days. That's why global entrepreneurs choose Singapore over India. More startups, more jobs, a stronger economy. The big takeaway. India's youth can be our biggest strength, but only if we invest in them now. If we don't, we risk millions of young Indians struggling for jobs, frustrated with the system. So, what do you think? Is India doing enough for its youth? Or do we need a major shift in how we approach education and jobs? Now let's shift gears and talk about something that forms the backbone of any economy: its infrastructure. Infrastructure isn't just about building roads and buildings, it's about creating the foundation for all of a country's ambitions. The speed at which people can travel, the reliability of energy, and the ability to connect across distances, all of this shapes economic outcomes. For India to truly thrive by 2047, we need to reimagine our infrastructure to be world-class. So, how do we do that? Let's break it down. The current state of transportation in India is suboptimal. In fact, according to the World Economic Forum, India ranks 87th in road quality globally. But let's look at the bright side. The Indian government has already rolled out ambitious plans to upgrade its transport infrastructure. Here's what's happening right now. The Bharatmala project aims to develop 35,000 kilometers of national highways to improve connectivity between urban and rural areas. The Delhi-Mumbai Expressway, currently under construction, will reduce travel time from 24 hours to 12 hours, enabling faster movement of goods and people. Dedicated freight corridors are also being built to streamline cargo transport, which will cut down transit costs and time significantly. But the big game changer will be the high-speed rail network. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project is a key project under PM Gati Shakti, the National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity. Once completed, this will cut travel time between Mumbai and Ahmedabad from 7 hours to 2 hours. The government is planning similar corridors between Delhi-Varanasi, Chennai-Bangalore, and Delhi-Amritsar. In parallel, metro rail systems are being expanded in over 25 cities, from Bengaluru to Pune, with the PM Urban Transport Scheme focusing on funding these projects. This shift toward electric buses and solar-powered public transport in cities will help reduce air pollution and offer a more sustainable urban transport solution. And here is the future plan. The National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP, aims to create projects worth $1.4 trillion by 2025, with a focus on building faster, smarter, and greener transportation networks. We're entering an era of rapid energy transformation, where renewables, digital connectivity, and cleaner technology will drive the economy. The Indian government is pushing hard for a future powered by renewable energy, and we're already seeing some incredible strides. Right now, India is the third largest producer of renewable energy globally, but we need to accelerate the shift from fossil fuels. Coal still accounts for more than 50% of our power generation. How do we break free from this reliance? Here's what's happening. The National Solar Mission has made India a global leader in solar power, with over 40 gigawatts of installed solar capacity as of 2024. By 2030, the government plans to scale this to 500 gigawatts of renewable energy, focusing on solar, wind, and hydropower. The faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles, FAME scheme, incentivizes the production and adoption of electric vehicles. The goal is for 30% of all vehicles in India to be electric by 2030. Smart grids and energy storage solutions are being developed to enhance the efficiency and reliability of electricity distribution, particularly in rural areas. What's next? The government is also focused on expanding 5G connectivity across India. By 2025, India is expected to roll out nationwide 5G networks that will enable high-speed internet for both urban and rural areas, supporting everything from digital healthcare to AI and remote education. Now, let's talk about something that still affects more than 65% of India's population: rural development. This area has often been neglected, but the government has started to focus on creating smart villages to bridge the rural-urban divide. Steps being implemented right now: Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana (PMGSWI) is the flagship program for rural road development, with over 6.5 lakh kilometers of roads constructed, enhancing connectivity in rural areas. National Rural Infrastructure Development Scheme (NRID) focuses on creating better irrigation and water supply systems for farmers. Smart village initiatives are being piloted in states like Uttarakhand and Gujarat, where solar energy, high-speed internet, and e-governance services are being integrated into village systems. But the bigger question is, how do we connect rural India to the global economy? The future roadmap includes better logistics infrastructure, like cold storage for farmers and fast-track delivery systems to major cities. This will help solve India's $13 billion food wastage problem. Agri-tech innovation, where the government plans to boost farmers' incomes by offering access to modern farming techniques, drones, and data analytics. The government has already launched the National Agriculture Market, (eNAM), a pan-India digital marketplace for agricultural goods, expanding rural fintech by leveraging blockchain and AI-powered lending platforms, such as PM Disha, to provide financial services to underserved communities. Now let's talk about one of the most important drivers of India's future, its economic growth and innovation. India is already the fifth largest economy in the world, but in order to reach the top 3 by 2047, India must tap into its entrepreneurial potential and ramp up research and development. So, what steps are being taken by the government to make this happen? India's startup ecosystem is booming. Did you know India has the third largest startup base in the world? But can we scale this to become the world's innovation capital? Here are the current steps being implemented. Firstly, Startup India Initiative. Launched in 2016, this program has led to over 50,000 startups across the country. The government has provided tax breaks, funding opportunities, and easier regulations to encourage entrepreneurs. Secondly, the government is focusing on creating innovation hubs through Atal Innovation Mission and Startup Village Entrepreneurship Programs, or SVEP, to bring tech innovation to rural and semi-urban areas. And what's next? To make this truly global, India needs to increase R&D investments. Currently, India spends only 0.7% of its GDP on research, while the US and China invest over 2%. Venture capital funds need to be expanded, and education reform should ensure that more engineering and tech students are ready to lead the world in AI, machine learning, and space tech. India's space program is already the fourth most advanced in the world, thanks to ISRO. But we can't stop here. To become a superpower, India needs to lead in AI, space exploration, and biotech. Here's how the government is making strides. ISRO's Chandrayaan mission and Gaganyaan, India's manned space mission, are just the beginning. The government has pledged $7 billion to develop space infrastructure over the next few years. The National Artificial Intelligence Mission, or NAEM, is pushing India to become a global leader in AI by 2030. With AI-driven research and solutions, it's aimed at solving national issues like healthcare, agriculture, and education. The Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, known as BIRAC, is providing funds to biotech startups. This initiative is making India a hub for cutting-edge healthcare innovations. What's next? Well, it's the expansion of AI research centers and collaboration with top global universities to attract global talent, establishment of space tech incubators and biotech parks to drive scientific innovation. Now, let's talk about the future of India's digital economy and financial inclusion. India's digital revolution is unstoppable. UPI and fintech have already transformed the way we make payments and access banking. But the big question is, what's next for financial inclusion? Let's break it down. Firstly, the government's game plan. India isn't just going digital, it's making sure everyone benefits. The PM Disha, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Sakshata Abhiyan, is on a mission to digitally empower 6 crore people in rural areas. Imagine millions gaining access to online banking, e-commerce, and digital services, a true financial revolution. Secondly, next-level digital banking. The National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI, is stepping up its game with UPI 2.0, bringing new features and financial tools to areas that need them the most. More accessibility, more innovation, more people included in the economy. What's coming next? fintech startups will bridge the gap, ensuring even the most remote villages have banking access. Blockchain technology could change the game by creating secure, decentralized financial systems. Think microloans, digital credit, and financial security for small entrepreneurs. Now let's talk about something that affects every single one of us: the environment. We all want a cleaner, healthier future, right? But here's the challenge. India is growing fast, and with that comes rising pollution, deforestation, and water shortages. But the good news is that India is not just sitting back. The government and industries are already making big moves to tackle these issues, and by 2047, we can become a global leader in sustainability. But what is the government doing and planning for this? Let's break it down. Did you know India is already one of the top 5 solar energy producers in the world? That's huge. We've come a long way, but there's still a lot more to do. Here's what's happening right now. The National Solar Mission is pushing for more solar farms, and India's total renewable energy capacity has already crossed 40% of our electricity mix. The Green Hydrogen Mission is aiming to replace fossil fuels with hydrogen-based clean energy, especially in industries like steel and cement. The government is rolling out subsidies for electric vehicles to cut down on pollution. What's next? India has pledged to hit net zero emissions by 2070, meaning we'll balance the carbon we emit with the carbon we remove. By 2030, half of India's power will come from renewable sources: solar, wind, and hydro. The shift away from coal is happening faster than expected, with billions being invested in clean energy. That's a massive transformation, and it's happening right now. Let's talk about water and agriculture now. Imagine this. You're a farmer, and your entire livelihood depends on rainfall. But droughts are getting worse, and water shortages are a real threat. This is exactly what millions of farmers in India face today. Did you know what's the government doing to fix these? Let's go through one by one. Firstly, the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchayi Yojana is helping farmers switch to drip irrigation, so they use less water but still get great crop yields. Secondly, the Soil Health Card scheme has helped 14 crore farmers check their soil quality, so they use less chemical fertilizer and more organic methods. Thirdly, the government is promoting millets, a nutrient-rich, climate-resistant crop that needs less water than traditional grains. So how do we take this to the next level? Imagine AI-powered irrigation that knows exactly when and how much water a field needs. No waste, no guesswork. This isn't science fiction. It's already being tested across India. And it doesn't stop there. More villages are turning to rainwater harvesting, bringing old lakes and stepwells back to life. These traditional water-saving methods, combined with modern tech, could solve India's water crisis for good. And let's talk about food. More farmers are shifting to organic and sustainable practices, reducing harmful pesticides while keeping crops healthy and profitable. If we keep pushing forward, India won't just be food secure, it can become a global leader in sustainable agriculture. But cities, especially the big ones, are facing a different kind of challenge: pollution. If you've ever been to Delhi in the winter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A thick layer of smog settles over the city, making it hard to breathe. And it's not just Delhi. As of February 2025, 4 of the 20 most polluted cities in the world are in India. Sounds bad, right? But here's the thing, change is already happening. Across the country, the National Clean Air Program is working to cut pollution by 40% in major cities by 2030. That means cleaner air, fewer respiratory diseases, and a better quality of life. Public transport is also getting an upgrade. Thanks to the faster adoption of electric vehicles, FAME scheme, thousands of electric buses and taxis are already on the roads, reducing emissions. And the Swachh Bharat mission, it's doing more than just keeping streets clean. It's helping cities manage waste better, with segregation, composting, and recycling becoming the norm. But this is just the beginning. Imagine walking down a street lined with green spaces and vertical gardens, not just for decoration, but to naturally clean the air. Picture hopping on a fully electric metro or bus with zero emissions, or even traveling across a river in a battery-powered boat. And plastic pollution. India is stepping up efforts to phase out single-use plastics, replacing them with biodegradable alternatives. If we keep up this momentum, by 2047, India's cities could be some of the cleanest and greenest in the world. So far, we've talked about the economy, the environment, and innovation, but none of that truly matters unless every Indian has the opportunity to thrive. A developed India isn't just about skyscrapers and high-speed trains. It's about ensuring that progress reaches every single citizen, no matter who they are or where they come from. And when we talk about equal opportunities, one thing stands out: women. India's female population makes up nearly 50% of the country, yet contributes only 18% to the GDP. That's not just unfair, it's a huge missed opportunity. But things are changing. Policies like the Women's Reservation Bill are making history, ensuring that 33% of seats in Parliament and state assemblies are reserved for women, giving them a stronger voice in decision-making. Meanwhile, economic programs are making an impact. Over 70% of Mudra loans have gone to women entrepreneurs, helping them build businesses and financial independence. And thanks to the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, more girls are going to school than ever before. But there's still more to do. Imagine a future where more women are leading in STEM fields, working as engineers, scientists, and tech innovators. A future where equal pay isn't just a promise, it's the norm. And where rural women have access to microfinance and self-help groups, giving them the tools to become entrepreneurs and leaders in their communities. Because here's the truth: when women rise, the whole country rises. A country can only move forward when its people are educated and healthy. Without these two foundations, no amount of economic growth or infrastructure will truly matter. And in the last few years, India has taken huge strides in both areas. Take Ayushman Bharat, for example, one of the biggest healthcare programs in the world, offering free medical coverage to 50 crore people. That means millions of families no longer have to choose between putting food on the table and getting medical treatment. Education is evolving too. The new education policy, NEP 2020, is shifting the focus from rote memorization to skill-based learning, preparing students for real-world jobs instead of just exams. And when the pandemic hit, programs like PM Avidya ensured that students in remote areas didn't fall behind, giving them free access to online learning. But this is just the beginning. Imagine AI-powered healthcare centers in villages, diagnosing diseases early and providing life-saving treatment where hospitals are scarce. India has much to do. Finally, let's talk about India's diversity. With 1.4 billion people, 22 official languages, and countless traditions, India is one of the most diverse nations on Earth. And yet, what makes us different is also what makes us stronger. The government has been actively working to bring people together. Initiatives like Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat encourage cultural exchanges between states, helping people understand and appreciate each other's traditions. And we all saw the impact of Har Ghar Tiranga, which united millions in patriotic pride. At the same time, stronger laws are being put in place to curb hate crimes and communal violence, ensuring that unity isn't just an idea, but a reality. But there's still more to do. Imagine cultural exchange programs in schools and workplaces, where people from different backgrounds truly learn from each other. Imagine stronger efforts to tackle misinformation, so divisive narratives don't tear us apart. And imagine a social media space where our differences aren't used to divide us, but to celebrate what makes India unique. Because when we stand together, a strong, united India is unstoppable. Alright, we've covered a lot in this video. And here's the real question: how India can solve its biggest challenges by 2047? Well, to thrive, India must tackle corruption, cut bureaucratic red tape, invest in world-class infrastructure, and push bold policy reforms. Fast action on these fronts will drive growth and global leadership, So let's work together and make India at 100 a global superpower. Thanks a ton for watching. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. See you in the next one. Until then, keep dreaming big, keep working hard, and keep believing in India's future.